Hi there guys, Sam here, welcome back to another video. Join me once again in my Mark 7 Golf R to talk a bit around, well, 5 or so reasons around why the Mark 8 Golf R drift mode doesn't really make any sense at all. So yeah, and whether or not it's worth it. So let's get straight into this video. So is the drift mode that's been announced in the Mark 8 Golf R pointless? Is there actually any point to it? So I'm going to go through a few reasons of why it's probably not really. And the first one that I want to kind of point out is that, you know, I've got a lot of subscribers on this channel, a lot of people are interested in the car, and I've built that up over the last couple of years. And my number one reason is people who, well, that I'd like to think could be quite entertained by a drift mode, because that's what it's there for. It's a, you know, it's quite an entertaining thing. You know, I'll show a screen of the car going around and drifting around in circles, which is really nice. And a lot of people that who would be tipped over the edge to buy the car for that reason are probably people who can't necessarily afford that type of car, because as I've mentioned before, if you actually want it with drift mode, even without any major other options, you're looking to spend nearly £45,000 on the car. Now, I don't know about you, but if I look back, say, you know, 10 years ago or whatever, when I just sort of passed my test and all this kind of bits, yeah, that sort of stuff would be like, yeah, that's so cool, I want to get into it. But I couldn't afford a car like that. It certainly isn't one for the people. So that's kind of my number one reason. Its target audience that would find that very entertaining and the reason to buy can't actually afford the car in the first place. So yeah, that's my number one reason. Number two, and the second point around it, kind of has to be the costs. I know it's kind of a little bit onto the first one, but for £2,000 on top of a £39,000 car to be able to do drift mode feels quite pointless to me. And I'll kind of combine this with a few other points, because if you want to take your car on track, you're not going to use drift mode because you might want to get the fastest time and all those kind of things. And drifting around a circuit is often frowned upon, particularly in the UK. So there's no real area to actually do it. And is the standard car not all the car that you'd ever want in the first place? And this is why I think it's probably quite good that it's actually an option. You know, I'm not going to lie, I don't really see myself getting up at 5 in the morning to find a quiet road to drift round in circles. That's just me. Maybe I'm completely different to whoever's watching this video and thinks that the drift mode is the best thing ever. So yeah, a few points kind of combined into that one, but yeah, that's my kind of second and third point, I guess. So my next point has to be everything's going to come into costs really, but take the car that I'm sitting in here today, my Mark 7 Golf R, which I've owned for 3 years. It's a 2017 manual car, and it's probably worth maybe £17,000 to the right person, which is a far amount substantially less than a Mark 8 Golf R with drift mode. And if the drifting thing was so important to the person, why not get a rear-wheel drive car? I mean, you can pick up M2 2016 plate BMW M2s for around £25,000. So even this car and that combined is just shy of what a Mark 8 Golf R with drift mode costs. If you really want to make it interesting, you can find a GT86 for around £10,000. Which will obviously be rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated, manual gearbox. Golf R Mark 8 isn't a manual, it's an automatic. Automatic cars, from experience, are a lot harder to drift. That's just, yeah, particularly ones that change up by themselves and all those kind of things. When I've done drifting, I've done a fair bit of drifting in a Porsche Cayman GT4 around Porsche Silverstone, again, closed circuit, all those kind of things. And yeah, it's a first gear job, manual. You know, it's simpler in the manual. You know, you can make your life easier or harder, whatever, and you kind of have the control yourself. You're balancing the throttle, you're doing quite a few different things. And whereas this, it just seems like you press a button, you put your foot down, and you might laugh for a few seconds. So yeah, that's another point around it. Now I'm sort of rattling through quite a few points into one, so I'm just going to keep on basically saying my next point. But I am going to sort of stress around that outright performance. You know, this car is supposed to be quick on the Nürburgring, all those kind of things. You know, they're not going to be selecting drift mode on the Nürburgring. they're just going to be trying to get the ultimate lap time. So if you're looking for that ultimate performance car, that performance all-weather car as well. You know, you bought a four-wheel drive hatch for that four-wheel drive security and traction and everything. It just seems a bit backwards that suddenly, yeah, well, let's make it artificially drift out a little bit. That side makes it feel a little bit pointless to me. My final point, I think it's the final point, has to be how it's very marketing led, and people on the marketing side don't necessarily know a pure enjoyment of a car, what it kind of brings to certainly car enthusiasts. You know, I love driving around in this, but you know, I've kind of had thoughts of a rear-wheel drive car at some point in my life, in my car history, to enjoy that. I can't, as much as I like the cars like the Focus RS, and it definitely grabs your attention. That's the one thing, and obviously that's what marketing wants. They want people to have a thing to say, wow, this car's cool. You know, there's no such thing as bad publicity, basically. But it doesn't actually really bring anything to the car. A car is there to be enjoyed for yourself. You know, you get a car to enjoy it for yourself, for your own sort of purposes. That's where I'm kind of sitting from. I'm not necessarily doing it to show off to other people, which I get. Again, you might be thinking, oh yeah, that's the only reason why I get a car like that, is to show off. And well, you can think of a better car than the Golf to show off to someone, put it that way. But being so like marketing led, is it kind of like an afterthought that they've kind of chucked it on? You know, the clips that you've kind of seen as I've been talking of it sort of spinning around in circles, is that something that is like, oh yeah, you know, that'll make me buy the car? It's you know, it's a really fascinating part of the car. Anyway, that's kind of the few points I wanted to make. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You know, I get it, not everyone's a car enthusiast, not everyone's really hardcore into their cars and have, you know, been passionate about it for most of their lives and just enjoy the automotive world and motorsport and all that kind of stuff. And the average Joe might find this kind of thing the reason why they purchased a car, which is why I kind of go back to the whole marketing side of things. Not really anything to do with the actual sort of performance or what I would see in terms of like a really great hot hatch. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Really interested to know your thoughts as always. Bit of a community channel. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully it brightens up. It's pretty wet and miserable here. Again, why four-wheel drive kind of works quite well. But listen, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.